Matt, are you a countryman or a city man?
I'm a city boy.
City boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're going out with friends and having a good time, what do you do then?
We love sports. We love competition. We love family. We always talk about now where we are in our lives. We talk about our kids a lot. What they're doing, their accomplishments. We pat ourselves on the back of how we raised a great group of children. So
a lot
of proud moments.
Have you done a good job?
I think we've done a good job. My wife has probably been a huge influence on the results. I've had a little bit. But I think together we've done a good job. Yeah. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking you is because being in a senior position as you are here in BOBST Americas, I'm just trying to understand a little bit who you are and what drives you. Because of what values do you have? Where do you come from?
Yeah, that's a great question, Morten. And it starts at home. When you go to work for a company, you want to go to work for a company that has the same values that you do. And over my career, that's what I've done too. I've aligned myself with companies that I really feel good about, not only from a technology standpoint, but how they treat their people, how they treat their customers. That's the number one thing for me because, as an executive in the business for a long time, you have a reputation, and your reputation is to deliver and to, when you tell a customer that you're going to do something for them, you do it. And if you can't do it, then you call them up and say, I can't do it. But credibility is the most important thing in this world for me.
And talking about those values that you explained here, in a company like BOBST, which is a pretty big company, is it easy to bring your values and the way of your mindset to such a bunch of nice people to make sure that you inspire rather than force a value?
It's I love working here at BOBST. I've admired the BOBST company from afar for a long time, being in the business. And so I bring my own values here, but you're learning every single day. And I see what John Pascal BOBST has built here and his family has built here. And everything gets pushed down the same way. And he treats people the same, he treats customers the same. It's going the extra mile all the time. And this is what I've done my whole life. So it's a perfect fit for me. I love being here.
And that beside, because of course you still need to deliver results. As I spoke to your colleague Matteo about yesterday, you as a company chose to unlist from being a public company. Does that give you, I wouldn't say leverage, because I think that now maybe the responsibility is even bigger towards Jean Pascal and his family, because now they have put the hand on the boiling plate, right?
Yeah, they've gone out on a limb. They've taken a big risk for their family, and they didn't have to do it. So the fact that they have done that, and they continue to want to make the investments, they want to spend money. And they've spent a lot of money, and they're going to spend a lot more money before they start seeing a return. Not a lot of folks want to do that. We live in a world of instant gratification, right? And he's made a declaration, a mandate that within BOBST the future will be digital, and he's putting his money where his mouth is, and you have to respect that.
And that must also be nice, because I don't know, because I never worked in a public company, but I was thinking that it must to some extent give you more faster turnaround time from an idea to actually implementation, because you don't have to ask a lot of shareholders, right?
It's absolutely true, and I've worked for publicly traded companies, and no matter what any of them say about being, for the long term, they manage their business by the quarter, and I've already seen here that the walls come down, because we're not driven by what that quarterly earnings report is going to say next month.
Now it's a little bit longer perspective.
Absolutely, no question about it. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
The values, I'm sorry that I returned to it. I just think it's so important in a conversation between people, basically. Obviously you're an American. Obviously you have worked, I take most of your life in America, but also from other companies, from different cultures. How big a difference is it to work in a company from, I mean, European values versus American values, in your opinion?
I think they're probably more aligned than you think, Morten. My whole career has been in the graphics business, and it's dominated by European companies
and Israeli companies,
Israeli companies,
and a few Asians as well,
and a few
right?
Asian companies, and I've worked for several of them, and I've gleaned a lot from each of the different cultures and companies and how they do business. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know, you can do business in several different ways, several different approaches. But the companies that I've worked for, I've been very, very fortunate that they all had the highest levels of integrity and you know, how they wanted to view themselves and how they treated their people and their customers. So I've been very fortunate in that respect. And
I actually think that is one of the things I like about this industry. I think that even when you talk to competitors, both on the media side but also on the vendor side, it seems that we have a respect for each other's work, and I know a lot of companies also work together as OEM partners, things like that. But I just think it's quite interesting that a company with so many people and so huge an impact still can have really friendly tone when you meet people. And
it's wonderful to be able to work for a Swiss company or a German company or Israeli company and understand their way of life and how they view things, and then be able to come back to the United States and talk to people over here who haven't had that experience. Yeah. You know, they see what they see on TV, where, you know, I go and I talk to people and friends and hear their perspective, and then they hear my perspective. And that's why I say we're more aligned at the end of the day than people think. So it's been wonderful for my career to be able to meet so many different people from so many different walks of life.
But you have also you're so fortunate that you are really an outgoing and easy to talk to person. I mean, that must be a huge advantage with. If you were a dumbass, it would be really quite difficult to make sure that you get things through, right?
Yeah. At the end of it, it's a people business,
yeah.
And people buy from people they trust and they like usually. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but for the most part, I think it rings true, across the board. Yeah. And I enjoy people, and I want to learn about them, and I want to understand them, and I want to see, how they view things, because I want to learn every single day, and I've learned so much in this business from so many people. I hope that I've been able to impart some things that I bring to the table, but I've learned far more than I've given, I think.
But I'm sure you can. Sometimes, I guess. I mean, your industry with the packaging and labels and all the wonderful thing BOBST does have been so unfortunate that you have probably been in a market that was not as hard hit from the pandemic as other industries or other segments, right?
Yeah, no question about it.
Have you ever been in a position work-wise, because as a boss, you also sometimes have to make tough decisions?
I have, and I lived that. I was with Heidelberg for almost 17 years. And 17 wonderful years to a super company that I have tremendous respect for. I loved every moment of it. I thought that I would spend my whole career there. But they made some missteps along the way. And when the financial crisis hit back in 2007 and 2008, they weren't prepared for it as much as they should have been. There had been a shift towards digital technology that was happening, and they were in, they were out, they weren't sure. I felt for me, and
it was
for my
also
career,
quite early in the digital transformation.
Yeah,
so from that perspective, it may be reasonable enough, right? I mean,
hindsight is 20/20. But for me, when I decided to leave Heidelberg at the time, I just felt that direction that they were going with wasn't aligned with what I wanted to do for the rest of my career. So I decided.
But now you're on the top of a company, and I'm just asking because I mean. Many ways of being a tough leader when it needed. I don't think you should be a tough leader, just be tough. Yeah. But I'm trying to say that you can have situations where you have to have tough decisions in let's say that you have a salesperson coming in and they are in a really big competitive situation with a competitor. That could be one situation. You could have a situation where you need to downsize or something like that. I mean, things that are unfortunate for everybody involved in it. Are you good handling people on that level and take care of them at that point as well?
It's no fun, Morten, as you know. Thankfully, for the bulk of my career, I've been with companies and businesses that are in growth mode. And even during the challenging times, I haven't really had to participate
too much in that,
in that kind of activity. So I feel for folks that are affected when it happens, and I've been affected a tiny bit in my career, but thankfully, knock on wood, it's always been in growth mode, and that's why I love the digital packaging space, because the future is bright, it's growth, it's investment, it's exciting, it's fun, it's new technology. It's exciting every single day, to be quite honest with you.
When I met you in Chicago just at Label Expo, I think you had like your first or second day almost working for BOBST, right? It was as new as it got, right?
Yeah.
What do you bring to the table in a company like BOBST?
Well, I think I fit in from the fact that I've been in technology and equipment my whole life. So, I've been in packaging for the past 30 years. I know the market well. In this particular space that we're in, the label space, I've been in this space for a long time, whereas it's fairly new to BOBST. BOBST has been mainly in the folding carton and corrugated space, a little flexible packaging the past several years. The label business is fairly new to them, and so I bring a knowledge of the business, the industry, contacts, people, trends. I'm able to get meetings with folks, with our leadership team, so that we can hear directly from them, and we can make decisions based on having open discussions with people.
Yesterday here at the BOBST Open House in Alpharetta, I noticed a situation, and I'm not asking you to tell anything about the situation, but what I liked about it was that there was a customer or prospect, I don't know whether it was either of that, and then you and two of your colleagues, you had to split and you talked to the customer, and it seemed like a very positive, intimate kind of conversation you had. Maybe you recall the situation, and I was just thinking that
I don't. We had a bunch of them yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but there was one particular where because I asked the person that you were talking to give an interview, and then he was busy and you were busy, and then we had lunch. And the reason why I mentioned this is just because I really like that. Because what you talk about here is that when you can get to a customer, you can make things happen, and you can point at the right people in your organization to make sure that a potential customer or customer can get the information that you need to deliver right away. Is that also possible when it's not an event like this? Because sometimes you need to have those kind of interactions.
It's a complex business, and I don't know everything. I can't give customers the answers to everything.
I've also only been here for like 3-4 months. It's okay.
Yeah.
When we get back next time, you will know everything, right?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but even still, just the fact that the support that we've got from our leadership, Matteo Cardinati coming all the way from Firenze, Italy, and Nigel Tracy joining us as well this week. It's the commitment that we have, and it's a comfort level too. If I have to go over here with someone, hey, could you go talk to Matteo? Matteo knows more about digital print than I'll ever know. We just have the right people and the right resources, to be able to work for a company that has that breadth of knowledge. It makes it easier for everyone, because this is a complex business, and we're fortunate that we have very, very, very key people who work for us. Dean Hartel, he started this thing 4 years ago with the first employee for Movent, before BOBST even owned them. He put us on the map here.
I know Jan and we traveled with him for BOBST in America. So
is that right? Yeah. The knowledge that he brings, he single-handedly put 29 presses into the market, in the middle of a pandemic, and got us to this point where we are today. So we just have tremendous people. I'm very fortunate to be with this group that we have.
When you, at some point, want to be measured for your efforts with BOBST, what would you like to be known for?
I hope that one day that they can say that our North American business is in such a good place, and we made the right decision when we elected to appoint Matt to the position of leading the business here. That's what I want to be known for.
But that's a good target, right? So how do you get to that target? Because some people I spoke to Matteo yesterday, and he told me that he has a background as a computer engineer. So basically he said that I'm very structured and focused, right? Yeah. Are you also very focused in your work, or how do you get your things done?
Yeah, I'm a metrics guy, so we're all measured at the end of the day by numbers and what you bring in. So that's the number one thing. And I get great joy from overachieving in business. That's what I set out to do. I don't want to just meet the numbers.
Do you also push yourself a little bit by setting the objectives a little bit higher than
no
just
question.
Okay.
Absolutely. My goals are higher for myself and for my team than what our leadership at BOBST wants. And hope they don't hear that, but
They will.
yeah, that's okay. We're always out trying to exceed and be number one and be the best and be recognized. Yeah, for doing a good job.
Yeah. And with that said, I take that you have given yourself a mission, basically, right? So now it's just about delivering on it, right?
It really is. I mean, this is in my life. It's your family first, of course, and then work for most people. And I eat, drink, and sleep BOBST and what we're going to do every day, and how we're going to achieve our goals and make customers happy. And there's no better satisfaction, Morton, than being involved with a label converter and helping them make a very, very big investment decision, and to deliver on your commitments, deliver on performance, deliver on taking care of that customers when things aren't going perfectly. There's a huge satisfaction that goes into that, and that customer in all likelihood will come back and buy from BOBST in the future, whether I'm here or not, because their experience has been so good. And that's what we're striving for every day.
Fantastic.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.